Okay, here's question 6 on the foundation non-calculator paper. Let's read through the question. Here is a square. So there's the square. On the square, draw all lines of symmetry. So they want all the lines of symmetry. Now, I just need to make sure that we're quite clear about this. So if it was a square, the lines of symmetry, you've got a vertical one going through the middle, you've got a horizontal one going across middle like so, and then you'll have the two diagonal lines of symmetry going across. Yeah, so that's what they're going to be. I'm actually going to do this now. I'm going to try to be as precise as possible. So that's about the midpoint of the top, that's about the midpoint of the bottom, and there's my first line of symmetry. Here's the midpoint there. There's the midpoint there. I could measure this with the ruler, but I'm doing it by eye. So I've got the vertical and the horizontal lines of symmetry, and the next ones are these two diagonal lines of symmetry. And here it is. There's my last one, and that's it. So my 4 lines of symmetry, 2 marks sorted there. Going on to part B. Here is a rectangle. Write down the order of rotational symmetry of the rectangle. Now, the order of rotational symmetry of a shape is the number of times in a full turn that it overlaps itself. If it's spun around in a full turn. I'm going to just use a bit of tracing paper to demonstrate this. I know what the answer is, right? But I'm going to just show this using a bit of tracing paper so you can see why it is. Okay, so I've traced around the rectangle. That's the bottom of the rectangle, and that'd be about the center. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this bit of tracing paper. I'm going to count the number of times the rectangle that I've drawn on the tracing paper overlaps the one on the sheet. So you can see now, you can see 2. So as I turn this, there's 1. There's my first one. Right, so 1 and 2. And you can see this line here is back at the bottom. So I've turned through a full turn, and the rectangle has overlapped itself twice. So that means that the order of rotational symmetry is 2. Okay, this is a fact you should know about rectangles. In fact, for the first part, A and B, those are pretty straightforward. You should be able to get all 3 marks that are available there. Okay, here's part B, part C even. Here is a different rectangle. So they've said that the diagram's not drawn accurately, so I can't measure, I don't need to measure. The question says work out the area of this rectangle. That is pretty straightforward. To work out the area of a rectangle, is its length times its width, right? The length is 10, the width is 7, so that's 7 times 10, or 10 times 7, and that's going to be 70. I can see in the answer space they've already written centimeters squared. If they didn't, I'd make sure I write that in to get my marks for units. That's pretty straightforward. There's question 6. Didn't take us much time, and it's pretty straightforward to get full marks in this. Okay?